we will make money, of course, if it goes higher, but we will also make money if it goes sideways, or even totally against us. We could be buck naked wrong.
One of the things that I think you've done really well, and I want you to talk about this a little bit, is your credit spread strategy, right? And how that works. Can you speak on that just a little bit to give people a little insight to how that works? I think it plays into this whole risk thing as well.
It does, and that's actually really exactly where it anchors. So, when you buy a stock, you have multiple choices in which you can express that view of the stock going higher. You could just buy the stock, you could buy a call option, that kind of stuff. Well, for most people, when they express that, what we call a bullish view on, let's say it's a stock, unless the stock goes up and goes up by quite a lot, and pretty much right now, they're not going to make money. But at any given point, does the stock have to go higher? Not really. It could go sideways, and of course, it could go lower.
Yeah.
So purely from a statistical perspective, which we talked about before in a different way, if you buy a stock, all else being equal, you have a 1/3 chance of making money. Right? Because it can go in three directions.
I get it.
So what we like to do is we like to give ourselves a much bigger room for error. And so when we have, let's say, a bullish view on a stock going higher, we will express our view with options in a very simple and conservative way so that we will make money, of course, if it goes higher, but we will also make money if it goes sideways or even totally against us. We could be buck naked wrong. The stock could go against us to a degree, right? And we could still make money or at least not get our butt handed to us.
Nice.
And that's the key point. Now, that kind of strategy doesn't hit you home runs, but it gives you a dramatic lower volatility in your portfolio, and almost like we like to look at it as like an income.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying this is the only thing one has to do or should do. Well, you can, and it's great.
It's a great
But
foundation.
you can still do other stuff.
Yeah.
But what that kind of strategy does is we find it year and year again, whether that strategy makes 67% like it did a few years ago or 24% like it did last year, what it does, it really allows us to have something to do other stuff on top. It gives us like an income, if you will. It's like there's that constant stream of positive returns on a year-over-year basis, quarter-over-quarter, and on top. And when we know we have that working for us, from a, like, say, for a client, then we know we can do other stuff on top. But if you don't have that, your room for error is zero.
Yeah.
And so that's really why we like to do this. And it doesn't, for people who are retired, this is wonderful because they have another source of income or much less volatility. Or if people who have part-time jobs, full-time jobs, it doesn't matter if they're, 20, 30, 40, 50, or 80. It's, the average millionaire in the United States has 7 sources of income.
Yeah.
So we like to look at it as another source of income. And again, there's many ways of looking at it.
Yeah.
But
I love that. So it's really like that foundation, right? And yet again, I think, one of the things that we've talked about is it's a lot harder to start again. And that, I say like we all of our friends, right, that are successful today, at some point they took a risk here and they took a risk there, and it just stuck, like they threw something at the wall. Sounds like to me like that credit spread approach right there is just more of like a solid foundation. Let me ask you this: on the spectrum of like 1 to 10, how hard is that strategy for a new beginner to learn?
2. It's very simple. It's and the learning part's not hard for the strategy itself. And we help guide people through this, through trade alerts, or on the investment management side, we of course manage their portfolios. But I think what happens to people very quickly once they start doing this is they start to feel so much more comfortable of putting a trade on because they know the risk is so limited. But again, we do this in a very specific way, which we wouldn't have to go into details here, but we do it in a very specific way, which is not traditional at all. You can do these very differently and make them quite risky, but with the past 22 years now, we've done this, and we've really made it like to the point where you don't even think twice about putting it on, because there's just that little risk.
Yeah.
And what that in turn allows you to do is, going back to the first point we talked about before, is it allows you to, again,
Make that third
you
trade.
have 3 trades that are winners, then you have 2 that are losers. It allows you to say, hey, who cares? I'm putting this on because I know how little the risk is, and I know what the reward is.
Yeah.
And that's really where you start to be able to play your hands without even, you don't even flinch. Like when we have a losing trade, I mean, it's not even, it doesn't even register.
That's
it doesn't,
awesome.
It's nothing. It's at the same time with a win, right? You will start to look at the winners as it doesn't affect you. It doesn't make me want to go down to the fancy Italian restaurant and order the big pizza. Just like it doesn't affect me when we lose the trade and say, I have to
You're
go.
going to do that on a Friday night regardless, right, Serge?
Exactly. So just like a losing trade wouldn't affect me when I say I have to go home and eat Cheerios.